Hello everyone, and welcome to a special Claymation demo. I'm Tommy Sims.
And I'm Jamie Hazelwood. And today we're focusing on a few little small demos that'll be focused mainly on animation principles. That way you guys can kind of get the gears moving to kind of get yourself ready for kind of the bigger stage that'll be with characters and sets.
Today the special demo that we're going to focus on is timing for animation.
Now, wait a second. What is timing, Tommy?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jamie. Timing for animation allows you to plan out every single little movement in your animations. It also lets you adjust just how fast or slow you want your clay to move. Now, the smaller the movements, the slower the action, and the larger the movements, the faster the action will be.
Well, wait a minute. How do we do this exactly?
Well, I'll show you.
Great.
To begin, let's start off by creating a layout of our movements. So we'll take the piece of paper here, and as you see, I've taped it down so it won't move while we're animating. On one side, let's write down the different speeds that we're going to be animating. So we'll have a normal speed. Now this is just for your benefit. A slow speed, a fast speed, and a speed that'll change. Now, what we want to do once we have these is to start drawing lines. Now, when we're actually animating, you won't be seeing these lines, but these lines that I'll draw are what you want to kind of keep in mind when you're moving your characters. So for normal, let's start by drawing lines maybe, about half an inch apart. And that'll just be kind of a consistent speed throughout the entire animating. We're going to actually be animating a couple balls rolling across the paper here. Now, for the slow one, we want to move, we want to have the lines closer together. So let's do maybe about 1/4 of an inch. Now for the fast, we want to do, say, maybe 1 inch apart or 1.5 inches apart. Because like I said, the further apart the different poses, the faster the movement will be. Now for the speed change, let's go and have our ball slow down. So we'll begin by having the lines spread apart just like the fast lines, and then we can start moving the lines closer together. Eventually have it slow down.
Are you having them kind of shrink there a bit so that way it goes nice and smooth? Or could we maybe do it where one's super long and then it goes super short? Or would that look good, Tommy? What do you think?
Well, what do you mean, Jamie?
Well, perhaps if I have a fast one here and then I go to small and then I go to fast again, that would look awfully clunky, right?
It would, because the speed would change every time. You'd be going from fast to slow, fast to slow.
Okay, now I'm getting it.
So we could actually have it pick up speed again here. Though also the length of the line doesn't matter. Like I said, this is just for your benefit. So let's take our clay here and create a few different balls. I'm going to have them just kind of be roughly about the same size. Now, as you all know, what I'm using here is Sculpt Iii Clay, and it comes individually colored. And you can also mix it and mold it and shape it in different shapes that you want. And you can also bake it in the oven if you want to harden it.
Going so fast and so blurry, I don't even know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I'm just taking the wad of clay here and then mixing it, or rolling it in my hands to create a little ball shape, like so. Now what we're doing here is just setting them up in the first position. What we're going to have them be when we start filming. So we can take our camera here, turn it on. Now any digital camera will work, as you all know. And we just want to play with the settings here, make sure the lighting looks decent. Now every camera, the settings will be different, so you want to look into your camera settings and just see what looks best for you. I'm going to go with this one here. Now, what I'm going to do is have the frame set where you don't see the balls to begin with.
Why don't you want to do that, Tommy?
Because what we want to do is have the balls roll onto the frame and roll off the frame. Now, if we have them here, you're going to see them where they start, and then they're just going to roll off. But what I want to do is have the camera over here so the balls are out of the frame. And I'm going to start taking a few pictures with the flash off, because with the flash on, you'll just see a big glare here. But I'm going to take a few pictures of this image here, and this will be our establishing shot. Now, the establishing shot lets your viewers see exactly where your action is going to be taking place.
That way we understand what's being shot, and that way we aren't just getting all this movement right away, huh, Tommy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what we want to do to begin animating is move all the balls to the first line that we drew. Then take a picture. If all of your balls aren't in frame yet, you don't have to worry about that. Eventually they will catch up. And as you can see already, some of them are slowing down.
It's almost like a race.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe my horse is the green one, huh?
Maybe it isn't.
Ooh.
Which one do you think is going to win, Jamie?
I'm going to go with red. Slow and steady wins the race.
Now you want to make sure that your hand is out of the shot before you take your picture, because otherwise when we review the animation, you're going to see that your hand is in the picture moving your clay ball.
So the concept we're trying to learn right here, Tommy, if I'm understanding you right, is when we start to animate our characters, we'll kind of understand more how they're going to walk and how fast they want to walk and move, right?
Right, and a good example that I always talk about with the timing for animation is like arm movements. If you move your arm a little bit like the blue ball here, or a lot like the green ball there, when you put it all together, it'll show how fast your arm will be moving. So we're just going to keep animating here until all the balls have reached the end of the paper. It's a very slow process, but it's really worth it in the end. As you can see, the green one's almost at the end. You want to make sure that you're moving every one of them, because if you forget about moving one of them, it's going to stay still for a couple frames, and it'll just look weird when it's rolling across and it just stops. Now I know the green one is off the frame for sure, but I still moved it just in case it wasn't. But now that I know that it's completely off the paper, I know that it's not in frame, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Almost there. Blue's done, and yellow is done. So we're just waiting on the red one now.
And timing kind of also goes back into a philosophy with, as far as emotions when it comes with your characters. If he's awfully scared, then he's probably not going to be doing motions that are really slow and kind of cumbersome. He's going to be going awfully fast. So that way you can kind of get a better idea for your viewers as to what emotion he's feeling by the speed of him.
Alright, now that all the balls are off the paper, I'm going to take a few more establishing shots, or finishing shots rather, since we're at the end here. And then I'm going to hit the review button. Every one of the digital cameras has some sort of review button. And now also with my digital camera, I can toggle between the images. Some cameras will have arrow buttons that you can do. Mine doesn't. It just has other settings. And as you can see, we can see our animation. Now, some cameras will flash between the images, and that won't really matter when we get down to the actual animating, because we'll take these images off the camera and put them into a computer program, and then that'll render out your images into an animation file. But this is an easy way to see what we animated here. You can just roll them back and forth as many times as you want by hitting your left and right buttons on your camera.
Very cool, Tommy.
Thanks, Jamie. And so there we have it. That is our basic timing for animation demo. So until next time, stay animated.